That would be me.
Look who we're hanging with.
Ryan O'Halloran.
Jason David Frank.
Humberto Ramos.
Please do not change channel.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for logging on and tuning in. If you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe. That way you can keep coming back over and over to hang with us and our wonderfully talented and creative guests in the arts and entertainment world. I'm Allison Murray, and right now we're in Fayetteville, New York, and we're hanging at the Fayetteville Free Library for an author meet and greet, and that's hosted by Tainted Moonlight, Aaron Kelly. Right now we're hanging with author David Claire Jennings. Thank you so much for hanging with us.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us, David, about your newest book here.
Well, this is one of my books. It's my second, but it's my favorite. I've written 8 books, 5 of them for commercial value, but Hannah's Promise is my favorite book. It's the second of a series of 3.
Okay. Give us a little book blurb on it.
It's strange because it's a woman's book written by a man, but I fell in love with my character Hannah Drish because I created her, first of all, out of whole cloth. She's my daughter, and then so I created her, and when I finished it I realized she created me. She's a freed slave, little girl, orphaned at the moment of her freedom at the end of the Civil War, alone in Alabama and in Mississippi. And she goes on to make a covenant and a promise, which I won't spoil, but she lives an incredible life of goodness. And when I got done with the book, I realized she's the heroine. She's a Joan of Arc or a Saint Teresa, but around her, her friends are also women, and the men are in a supporting role in the book. And I said, my goodness, it's the second book I've written about the 19th century. All my books are historical fiction. They're about 50% real, honest history and about 50% imaginary characters living in those times. So this is a heartfelt story, and I'm proud of this work.
Beautiful. So what was your inspiration to becoming an author? Do you have a day job, or did you have a day job?
Well, what happened was I retired 14 years ago, and I kicked around and did a lot of retired man's hobbies with my wife and so on. My wife has been going through 15 years of Alzheimer's disorder, and so I was home and we couldn't travel very much as she degenerated. So I went back to college as a freshman when I was 71 to study American Studies, which is American history and American literature, the great writers of our country. I was an engineer, so this was.
Oh my goodness!
So I wrote a lot of nonfiction, of course, for college papers, and I thought I knew everything I knew about writing, and I was so wrong. As soon as I started to write fiction, I realized it's much harder. You have to learn how to write believable dialogue in the correct idiom for the place and the time. You have to make believable characters, characters that you love and characters that you hate. That's a whole different thing than writing a narrative of history. And so my first book was After Bondage and War, which was the antebellum South, slavery and the Civil War. This is the sequel, and there's a sequel to this one, and then the 3 of them are put together in one anthology covering the 19th century. A massive cast of characters by the time I got all done.
Absolutely wonderful.
So yeah, engineer, and then and now I'm studying music.
Oh my goodness.
19th century music, of course. Because
of course. That's your favorite era.
Yeah.
So what do you find is the most difficult part of your writing process, specifically?
Making a complete and big enough novel My novels tend to run kind of short and lean, 200 pages or so. I can knock out the first 10,000 words and tell the whole darn story in 50 pages in a hurry. And then I've got a tiny, tiny micro book. And then I take another 10 months, 11 months after that and flesh it out with more characters, more scenes, more character development, more description. And that's the hard part. I guess I'm impatient and I'm in a hurry, and it takes a long time to write a book.
Yeah, it does. When did you realize that word has power?
Well, you know, I did technical writing all my life as an engineer, conveying information and teaching and instructing and conveying information. And then I started reading Faulkner and Hemingway and Fitzgerald and Twain and Steinbeck and Pat Conroy in our century, and I realized the power of words, the poetic elegance that can be used with words is a whole different level. And that's when to answer that question.
Yeah. Okay. Where's your most favorite place to go to recharge, to draw more inspiration?
Well, I made a 19th century room in my house because I'm on a short rope caring for my wife at home, and we don't travel. We used to travel a lot through the South, down the coast, a lot. I love Savannah a lot, and Key West. But now I have this 19th century room that I go in, and I'm in the 19th century, and I sit there and I can, be there. And that positions me to do my writing.
That's so beautiful.
I don't know if that's quite a correct answer, but...
No, it is.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Was it challenging getting your first book published?
Yes. I did it through a bookstore. They did the artwork. They went through Create Space, and it was a self-published situation. It was a frustration for me because I didn't own my own self. So I formed a publishing company called Southern Heart Publishing. Those words have meaning if one were to read my books. And I took control of my own self. Behind all of my barcodes, the publisher on record is Southern Heart Publishing. Me, I own my own self.
Beautiful.
I choose my printer. I choose my distribution. Yes, I'm still self-published. I did send letters to Katie Medina, the editor at Random House that wrote E.L. Doctorow's, edited E.L. Doctorow's work. I've sent letters to Morgan Freeman, lots of people, but those are a long shot, a real long shot. So I just write for myself, and I have control of my own publication process.
That's beautiful.
And I do what little marketing and promotion that I can do.
All right. Who designs your book covers?
Me. The first one was done by a young graphic artist at a bookstore in Auburn, and then I did the next 7 covers on my books.
Wow.
I learned, I've worked with computers every day of my life since 1985, and so I've learned how to use things like Adobe Photoshop.
Beautiful.
And they're adequate covers. They set the tone and the mood.
Yeah,
I've seen much better covers.
You're selling yourself way too short. So what's coming up for you after today? Do you do a lot of book signings? Going anywhere?
I do some of these. My wife and I did a play last year. I wrote a play, The Couple Now and Then, about my wife and I now, and about a time way in the past. And we changed costume and characters, and we become 2 characters in my 3rd book of my trilogy.
Oh my
And
goodness.
we did 5 performances last summer. It's really kind of a farewell tour for my wife. So we do that. We go to nursing homes and do readings. We go to libraries. We go to Civil War reenactment events in the summer.
Oh, aren't they fun?
Yeah,
Yes.
and you know, there we got the old gray-haired military guys that like that part of my writing.
Yeah.
And strangely, with my Facebook promotions, I've developed a lot of friends that are young African American women in the South. And I'm going, wow.
Yeah.
Hannah's
incredible.
Promise.
Yes.
Hannah's Promise.
Yes.
It resonated with them.
Incredible.
It resonated with them.
Yes.
So
where can people find you? You have Facebook?
on my website, which is www.davidclairejennings.com. That middle name is spelled C-L-A-I-R-E. On my website, you'll see all my books with buttons to buy them on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, ebooks, paperbacks. You can also buy them from me. They are in 7 of the 32 libraries of the Onondaga County Public Library System.
Beautiful.
They'll be in this one soon. But my website is full of YouTube video clips, poetry, text, essays, descriptions of my book, reviews. I got an incredible review on Hannah's Promise from a lady author in Louisiana, which is the nicest thing, the kindest thing I've heard, I've gotten for feedback. So my books are out there, you know, on the internet, or if you're local, I'm in Liverpool.
Beautiful. Do we have time for a game? We like to play games on this show.
Uh-oh.
I'm the game girl. They call me the game girl.
Uh-oh.
We're going to play Dirty Minds. Have you ever played Dirty Minds?
No, are you sure we want to do this on here?
You got it. So
I'm-
we don't have time to play Dirty Minds. So we just are going to...
Good.
You're going to pick one of the
Things in the
things
back
in
here?
here. You're going to read me the
What it
clues,
says?
and I'm going to try to guess what the word is
Oh,
without
I see.
embarrassing ourselves too much.
Oh, there are some dirty words
There
here.
are.
You want me to be a little more careful with the ones I
Whatever
pick.
you pick, honey, it's YouTube.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, all of these have innuendo.
Yes, that's why it's called
that
Dirty
okay?
Minds.
Is that okay for this YouTube?
It is.
All right, well here we go. Here's
I'm
one.
ready.
Are you ready? Okay. You have to worry to eat me out. I'm only good for pumping. The liquid in me comes in spurts.
A heart.
You got it. I think you've probably seen this book a few times, right?
That one. My turn.
Oh, okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm a 4-letter word.
All right.
I end with U-C-K.
Yeah.
If you got me, you score.
Luck.
You got it.
Yes. What you
Yay!
have to do is think with an undirty mind.
That's right. You
That's
see?
That's what you have to do.
Do we have time for one more? Let's pick one more.
Okay.
One more, David. Pick
You want me
another
to
one.
from you or to you?
We're going to do each other again.
Okay.
Okay, you pick another one.
If you're not hairy, you don't need me. I can give you a big gash. When I'm sharp, I can penetrate anybody.
A razor?
Yes.
Yay!
Yeah,
I'm getting good at this
You
game.
know this book.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
I was made for rubbing.
Okay.
You can use me to get off.
Okay.
The rougher I am, the more you use me.
An eraser?
Close. Sandpaper.
Sandpaper. Yes, that's a better answer. Well,
Guys, we have had a blast hanging with
that
David
was pretty
today.
scary. That was pretty scary.
That
but
was, wasn't it?
but we got-
I'm Allison Murray, but before we go, we'd like to thank our partners. Our brand new partner at Krypton Radio out of LA, Famous Faces and Funnies, Off the Chain Radio with Yvonne Mason, Space Coast Comics, the Florida Book News, Wordfire Press, our great friends at 7 Unique Magazine, Asylum Convention Entertainment Services with Heather Reed. These are the folks that share our videos all over the World Wide Web, and we hope you will too. Don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment, let us know what you think of today's show and our guest. You can also check our guest links below. Remember to subscribe, log on, and stay tuned to see who we're hanging with next. David, that was fantastic.
Thank you so much.